Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Over the past several months, the situation in the Middle East has been getting more and more complex. Iran now vows severe revenge after announcing Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed by short-range projectiles. To explore the situation and possible solutions, I am joined by Marcin Krzyżanowski. He's a Middle East expert at Jagiellonian University. Welcome, sir, to TVP World, and thanks for taking the time on Sunday morning to join us.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, the thing that first struck me when I read the story was that this was an explosive device that had been hidden in a guest house in Tehran up to 8 weeks before the explosion actually occurred. Is this what you're hearing as well, Marcin?
Yes, that's the one of the possible explanation, although most experts are in favor of the rocket theory. And that's also the official, most probably this time, this true version and statement of Iranian authorities.
Okay, so it may actually be a projectile, as the Iranians say. Now, what was Haniyeh doing in Tehran?
Haniyeh was officially a guest of honor on the inauguration ceremony of newly elected Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, and of course, except of official duties and attendance at the ceremony, Haniyeh was holding a lot of meetings with Iranian officials and some of international guests, and also invited to the ceremony.
Okay, so we hear that Hamas is, Haniyeh is a leader of Hamas. What do we know about his role and the importance of the fact that he has been assassinated?
He was the chief of the political wing of Hamas, and also the main negotiator and formulator of so let's call it foreign policy of Hamas. He was a quite frequent guest in Tehran, and currently, as we heard, he was deeply involved in the Hamas-Israeli negotiation on the topic of the Israeli hostages still holding by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. His assassination.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, please continue.
His assassination, first of all, is the major blow for the Iranian security services. And, such assassination in the heart of the Iranian capital, almost during the ceremony of presidential inauguration, is also a huge blow to the Iranian reputation in the Middle East. As I said before, he was a guest of honor, and somebody was able to kill the guest of honor of the Tehran government in the heart of its own capital. It will further strengthen the relations between Iran and Hamas, as Iran proved that it's unable to provide security for its guests.
Highly embarrassing, of course, for the Iranian regime.
Definitely.
But I want to focus on one thing that you said about Haniyeh's role as a negotiator. Surely now, he was one of the people involved in perhaps working towards a peaceful resolution to the war in Gaza. Now, no one has actually claimed responsibility for this assassination. Is this setting the peace process back?
Oh, it would be too much to say it was a peace process or peace negotiation. It was more like temporary truce negotiation, but a part of the words at the moment after that assassination. Any talks are strained. Of course, still there are rumors that currently in the Egyptian capital, in Cairo, under the eyes of the Egyptian government are both sides conducts peace truce talks, but after assassination everything is in vain in that matter. At the moment there are no chances for truce or exchange of hostages, swap prisoners or anything like that.
So in whose interest is this assassination?
And that's a very hard, not to say a tricky question. Some experts say that it is in the best interest of Premier Benjamin Netanyahu, as if we consider that Israel is responsible for that assassination, which most probably is true. And that means that Premier Netanyahu showed his power and toughness. He sent a clear communique that everyone who is fighting against Israel may be reached, even in places as the Iranian capital. He also showed that he has a will to conduct such strikes. Also, by doing that, he most probably saved his shaky government coalition, as that assassination pleased radical ministers in his cabinet, as Smotrich and Ben-Gvir.
Yes, but surely by carrying out this assassination, he's putting the likelihood of the release of hostages even further back. I mean, Hamas is not going to be in a mood to negotiate on this. So again, why would Israel want to do that? I mean, the release of hostages is one of its major goals, isn't it?
At least political goals. But considering the grand strategy of Israel, such assassination is effective in creating the atmosphere of fear amongst the Israelis' enemies. At least that's one of the purposes of such actions. There is also a chance that Iran would retaliate immediately, and it would be for Israeli government also a chance to drag United States deeper into that conflict, which at the moment was avoided, but there is still a chance for that.
Right, okay. So Iran has vowed severe revenge, which of course is not unexpected. What could Iran do?
There are three most probable scenarios. The first one is a massive, combined and coordinated attack of all organization being part of so-called axis of evil or axis of resistance, as Iranian government call it. The second scenario is that Iran will conduct a terrorist attack on Israeli institutions abroad or prominent Israeli politician within Israel. And third, less probable and in my opinion unlike scenario, is that Iran will directly hit or try to hit Israeli military installation from the territory of Iran. But as it would be a major escalation, I don't think it will happen.
Well, I mean, it has been using its proxies in Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen to act on its behalf in that regard. Now, you mentioned dragging the US into this conflict. But there have been, I mean, the last time Iran attacked Israel using dozens of drones, many of them were actually shot down by Jordanians and Egyptians. So there are Arab countries who are also willing to stand up to those kinds of threats from Iran. Could the same happen again?
Of course, as we speaking, the Jordanian government clearly declared that it will not allow any usage of its airspace for the attack against Israel, and that it will actively try to shut down any kind of drone project or something like that. Similar but unofficial stance came from Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. But still is unclear how those countries would act in the time of probe.
Okay, well, now I want to zoom out a little bit from this event itself. Qatar is hosting a number of Hamas leaders. Iran is funding Hamas and other groups. But what about the big players, the other big players, Saudi Arabia, for example, the UAE? Do they have a role to play in mediating this whole kind of aggression by Iran?
Not this time. Saudi Arabia is at the moment between a hammer and a hard place, as it would like to sustain its, at the moment, very good relations with Iran, and it would like to further sustain that good temporarily good relations with Tehran. And as the Qatar is holding most of its cards in its hands, there is no room for Saudi Arabia to mediate in that conflict.
And what about the other countries in the region, or is Israel standing on its own in this?
Maybe it's not standing on its own, but for sure at the moment Israel is politically separated from the region, maybe with the notable exception of before mentioned Jordan. All countries of Arabian Peninsula are trying to avoid escalation, as they want to avoid taking a stance in that conflict. The United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia would like to avoid any kind of damages, political damages or direct damages to its infrastructure, which might happen during any kind of attack on Israel from Iranian soil.
Understood. Well, we'll be, of course, as always, watching the situation very carefully. Mr. Krzyżanowski, thank you very much for coming along and sharing your analysis on this topic. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, lots more coming up. Goodbye for now.